Well, welcome everybody to the 9th EBERSPÄCHER FIL Luge World Cup. This is the World Cup finals here in YANQING, China, site of the Beijing 2022 Olympic Winter Games. And we had an evening of racing yesterday for the record books. We crowned Julia Taubitz of Germany as the overall World Cup champion for the 5th time in her career. And then straight after that, we crowned Selina Egler and Lara Kipp of Austria, the overall champions in women's doubles with one of the most perfect second-run performances. So we're going to kick off proceedings tonight with the men's doubles, and the probability is that we will crown Toby Wendell and Toby Alt champions for the 6th time in their career. The only variable that's going to stop that is if they're disqualified and they receive 0 points. But the good news is the battle for 2nd and 3rd is alive and well, with Stoy Kindle and Bots Plume separated by only 4 World Cup points, and Eggert Mueller just back by 20 points. So, luge fans and those new to luge, welcome. I'm really happy you've come along to see the fastest gravity-powered athletes on the planet do what they do best, which is go very fast down a sheet of ice. My name's Mark Hatton, and for the expert analysis today, we're incredibly lucky to have Diana Eitberger, 2018 Olympic silver medalist, and now women's doubles specialist. Great to have you back, Diana. I'm going to start by just saying, how's your week been?
Sorry. Yeah, hi. It was a very tough week for me. We had, Magdalena and I, we had a lot of bad crashes. Of course, we were sick and we missed the training in the end of the week, and so we didn't qualify for the competitions yesterday. But for that, we make the decision not to slide here anymore and to finish our season a little bit earlier. But well, yeah, the trip to the Chinese wall, it was pretty good. And yeah, of course, I never had so much time in my hotel room. But yeah, thinking about the next season, of course.
Well, I was going to ask that because last time you were here, or last time the athletes were here, it was COVID times. So we didn't see much of China. Have you seen met more of the Chinese people, seen more of China, seen the traditional Chinese hospitality?
Yeah, it was great to be at the Chinese wall and to make this trip with all athletes, and that also the Chinese people and the federation make it possible for us. We also went into a mall and looked for some special things of China, so a lot of people and a little bit tradition of the country. But yeah,
so
it
they've
was
been
nice.
looking after you well. And so coming back here, you haven't been back here for 4 years. I seem to remember you did the test race here.
Yes.
Where I think you came 5th. And then how much has it changed? Has the track changed? Because it was a challenging track back then. And as we've seen this week, especially for the doubles, it's hugely challenging now.
Yeah, at the beginning I thought there is, of course, maybe not so much pressure and also not so many speed like other tracks we have. Yeah, and of course maybe it's a little bit different since the Olympics or a few times ago, and for everyone it's a new challenge to work with this track and with these conditions again. And
well, you mentioned the conditions, and that I found that fascinating because calling the race last night for the final run of the night, the ice temperature was -11. So, I mean, that's pretty unique condition. You don't get that much in Europe.
No, not in Europe, but I remember some conditions like this in Whistler. When I have my first races there many years ago, I asked my coach how I get my sled more safety and when is the point, when I reach the point I can't make it safety more safety because it's too cold and nothing changed. And yeah, it's special conditions because there's so much wind inside, and maybe it makes the top of the ice a little bit different than Europe ice.
Yeah, and I think like you just have to be so much more quiet on the sled with your body, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. So our crashes was the result of a big mistake. Of course, in the first step, I put my feet down to control the sled again, and in the end, the sled doesn't. I couldn't have the control again, and so I fall down.
And you weren't the only one, Diana, so I mean, it was watching the doubles was something else. This is an incredible graphic of the track. Can you just tell us a bit about this place, because it's incredible.
Yeah, it is absolutely. It looks like a snake, and it's insane what they have built here. And so this is a special track because we don't have so much pressure, we don't have so much speed until the Kreisel or the circuit, of course. And from this point, we run out, and of course the corners in the beginning, like corner A and B, and now we see this is one of the most important corner of the whole track because it's so flat, and every skid you make costs a lot of time.
So at this stage of the track, what are we concentrating on? Are we concentrating on being smooth?
Yeah, smooth, and you have to steer on the point because in the end you don't have so much speed, so it could be that you have to steer a little bit more because the pressure is missing. And
this is that enormous 370-degree rise. I mean, that's 7 seconds.
Yeah, in training, of course, we had 10 seconds, or if you have not so many speed, you can also have half a minute. I don't know, but yes, but this is also a special point in Dragon Tail until the finish.
That 13 to the Dragon's Tail, I mean, if there's a signature curve on the track, that's it, I would say.
Yeah, but I watched the competitions yesterday, and the main mistakes you can make is in the bottom part. You lost the time before the Kreisel, and then it's getting better. Maybe.
So here we have our temperatures on screen, -8 ice conditions, so that is hard ice. The air temperature, not that cold out, but this is going to be partially a night race, so it's going to get colder. And as the air gets colder, the ice is going to get harder. And there are the names on the screen: Tobias Wendel, Tobias Alt, the expected overall winners, but doubles on this track, Diana, is unpredictable.
Yes. We saw it yesterday with the women's doubles, and of course, I'm sure maybe we will see similar mistakes today with the men's. Hopefully not so bad, and yeah.
Yeah, I can believe that. Well, we have 2 did not starts on the start list. Bib number 1, Nagla Malier. They're a DNS. They had a couple of big crashes in training, so they've taken the decision to step back. And similarly, Gitlan Serban of Romania, bib number 12. They're not going to be taking part in the race either, and will be on the results as a did not start. And then, obviously, sending speedy recovery and wonderful wishes to Armin Frauscher of Müller Frauscher, who broke his forefoot in training. He broke his arm here in the pre-Olympics, so this has been a really tough track for him. And then also Ricardo Schopf of Gatten Schopf. He didn't recover in time from the big crash they had in Pyeongchang last week. So a slightly decimated doubles field, a few less athletes this time, but going to the top of the track now to start us off will be bib number 2. And this is Zach Di Gregorio and Sean Hollander of the United States of America to get us started in the EBERSPÄCHER Luge World Cup final in men's doubles. Now, the other thing, Diana, is there's been a sickness going around the camp, hasn't there?
Yes, absolutely. And also the American team were of, I think, 10 athletes, 5 were knocked out in this week, and everybody is fighting through this week. And yeah, you see it if they're sitting on the sled at the start. They want to fight for the points.
For sure, for sure. I mean, luge athletes, you know, we often say are made of strong stuff, and there's very little that would stop an athlete from dragging themselves onto their sled to slide in a World Cup. So we're about to get proceedings started. Again, big starters, these two. They've got that beautiful start facility in Lake Placid, upstate New York, where they hone their starts. And let's see, this was where it was really tough, those top two curves.
And we have a new start record with more than 1/10 better than the older one.
Well, that says two things, doesn't it? I mean, it's incredible how much these guys have progressed, but also how cold and fast this track is, right? How challenging it's going to be.
Yeah, it is.
But Di Gregorio and Hollander putting together a nice run here. They had a few problems in curve 6 during the week, but they made it through that nicely, and now we get up to this incredibly impressive 360-degree turn. As they come into 12. Just trying to stay relaxed here. A little skid up the curve in the entrance of 12, and getting very close to that right wall going to 13, which caught so many of our athletes out yesterday. Dragon's Tail, though, looking absolutely wonderful how they drove that. And then round the finish curve and crossing the finish line to be our first athletes down the track with a 59.832. This is Zach Di Gregorio. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it was a good run. I'm not sure if this will be the end of the time or if we will see a little faster sleds, but he made it very well for start number 1.
And Zach really committing the position through the Dragon's Tail. That was a brave thing to do, because it's incredibly quick down there.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of grip either.
No, and what you see, all the happiness in the faces, because they know they just have to make one run, or also with the team relay maybe the second run again, and then they are fine.
So next up from Ukraine, this is Ihor Hoy and Nazari Kachmar. Hoy and Kachmar, regulars through the North American part section of the tour and also this Asian section. It's been a real World Cup this year with this traveling over Europe, over North America, and now Asia. But again, Hoy Kachmar looking to get through those tricky curve A, B, and 3 combination.
Yeah, maybe in my specialized eyes, I will see a little skid, and we see it costs a lot of time with the start time. 7:01. There's also, you lose the time at the start, and you know if you're not fast enough at the start, you can't find for the positions in the front of the field.
We're seeing, as we saw yesterday, those mistakes, especially the ones made before the prize, are incredibly expensive. As you can see, it's multiplying down. As they're skidding down the Dragon's Tail, having to drop the feet, but managing to get it back under control before finish curve. But it's looking like Di Gregorio and Hollander will stay in the lead, and they do. Hoy Kachmar dropping back into second by 1.5 seconds. A clean-ish run, but lots of small mistakes at the top.
Yeah, I think so. And this is very interesting because the ice is, it seems like it's so slippery, or you can it feels like you don't have so much hold on the ice, and but this is if it's break out, it costs so much time and you don't see it. So let it go and let it flow. This is the most secret I can give to all of them. Yeah, I think that's a universal in luge, isn't it? Is letting the sled run as much as you can. Yes.
From Rita Keinswalder from Italy, but getting it back together. Another start record, 6.87, absolutely smashing the previous start record, previously held by Walker Smith of Canada. And sneaking into the lead here by 18 thousandths of a second, and then looking to just multiply that down the track through these flattish curves. That curve 6, Diana, where it drops down into that compression.
Yes.
That can be quite challenging, I guess, because the sled kind of gets very light as you come out.
Yeah, of course, and also the line have to be very clear that you take all the speed with this compression. But Rita Keinswalder, I think they had a very nice week. They had good results at the last training session, and now we see
new leader. Absolutely.
Yes.
Riding the dragon's tail absolutely beautifully there. Rita Keinswalder, our new leaders, into the lead by 0.2 of a second. That's a commanding lead early in on the competition. Just getting caught up in the exit there, but pretty good run, Diana.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, they had a very good week here, and I think they also had fun this week to feel the speed and the good lines. When I watched on the starting list or time list in the end of the training, I saw them that they can compete. Maybe one of the favorites today in the end of the competition.
Well, they did. I found watching them in training, they pretty much got curve 13 on day one, didn't they? And they were one of very few teams that did, I feel.
Yeah.
So, back to the Romanian team now. This is Tudor Handeric and Sebastian Motzka. Motzka took part in Whistler and also took part in this section of the track, but that A-B curve just catching them out on that right wall. We saw that quite a lot yesterday, Diana, in the women's, that right wall really causing problems.
Yeah, and from this moment you have to be fast to control the sled again, because if there's something happened strange, you lost the speed and of course the time, and it could be that the mistakes will be also in the end of the track.
Absolutely, and the Handeric Motzka also bumping very early onto curve 6, a few curves back. That will have cost them. They just got knocked away from that curve with the skid before there. But now they're in the bottom section of the track, hopefully starting to relax now. Nice entrance to 13. Let's see how the Dragon's Tail is, though, having to drop the feet. Almost over, managing to keep it on both steels as they drive hard through that finish curve, almost hitting the short wall, but get through into 4th place. Handeric Motzka back by 2.8 seconds and having a tough time, especially in the top of the track.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Those low-speed curves like this, so what could they have done to fix this?
I think they fight enough for to control the sled again, but like I say in the beginning, it is so slippery, and it seems like you can't control the sled anymore because it needs a lot of time, but you have to fix it very, very fast to take the whole speed.
Okay.
Because if you lost the speed, it could be that it's not enough for for the curve 5, and we see they have also problems there because yeah, it's missing.
Okay, so China now, the home team, Sakei Jubai and Shu Hu. These guys looking forward to the team relay, having not been able to race in a team relay all year due to the injury to their women's doubles team. So it's going to be great to see China take the start later on in the day for the team relay competition. As we saw last night, the Chinese crowd were out in force cheering on the home team, which is just so wonderful.
Yeah, it's also nice to see them again in the World Cup competitions. Of course, they
big trouble out of curve 6. Just that was that compression we were talking about, hey? It's incredibly challenging if you're not dead straight, I would think.
And now the time is running.
Yeah, this is where this long chrysal feels even longer when you unfortunately make a big mistake at the top of the track. Now it's a case of them just getting it back together, putting together some good lines through the bottom section of the track, just hitting hard on that chicane down the Dragon's Tail. Jubai Hoy, 123 kilometers an hour, crossing the finish line into 4th place by 2.4 seconds. Now, there were some really good sections of that run.
Yes, absolutely, and I was, yeah, I just want to say that these guys are having the most runs on this track, and you see also the mistakes could happen there. The sled breaks out, and
yeah, and that being uphill, that mistake, that time just goes away, doesn't it, with it being uphill as well?
Yes, and everything what happens before the Grisel, you can't gain the time again.
Well, I'm excited to see what Jubai Hu do on the second run, because I think if they tidy that up a little bit, they could leave with a run really to be proud of in a World Cup. So, one of the form teams of the season. This is the world #3 pairing of Botsenplume. Big starters, these guys. They've got a great facility in Riga where they practice their starts. Little bumpy onto curve B there.
Yes, it looks like they're a little bit late there. Then you have to work much more.
Just to jump in there, we just had another start record, as I'm sure you saw on the screen, that yellow badge coming up on the screen. These start records are falling hard and fast. Much better 3.6 there from Botsenplume. You said that 6 was incredibly challenging for doubles.
5 to 6 could be challenging. Yeah. And we saw a lot of hits again the wall yesterday with the women's singles and also with the women's doubles there. But yeah, it seems like the little mistake out of B or into curve B, they fix it.
So Botsenplume having a little bit of a knock down the Dragon's Tail, but nothing to write home about. Into first place by almost half a second. That is going to be a contender for the top spot of run #1, I think.
Yeah.
But this mistake, how expensive is one like that when you're carrying the speed in the Dragon's Tail?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it costs so much time because you're in the pressure and in this high-speed section, and it's not so many meters you have to go to the finish. Yeah.
So now we get to the world #2s. This is Thomas Stoy and Wolfgang Kindl of Austria. This is where there's a 2-horse race really for the second place in the overall between Botsenplume and Stoy Kindl. But they're not going to be concentrating on that. They're going to be concentrating on trying to win the final World Cup of the season.
Yeah, Thomas, he will have a bronze medal at the Olympics here with...
That was a little messy through the top there, Diana.
Yeah, it was.
So,
but he had also a very tough week, bad crashes in this part, 5 to 6. Now he handled it very well, and also he was sick at the beginning of the weekend. Everyone is fighting, and so.
Yeah, then that was through the camera there. That was not nice to see these athletes struggling to make the training. But Stoy Kindl trying to make up for lost time here and not losing too much time, multiplying down back by 2/10. But that could have been much more. Down the Dragon's Tail, having to drop a foot there. Round the finish curve, this uphill finish curve that just takes speed off the sleds, and into third place for Stoy Kindl, back by half a second from Botsenplume.
Yeah.
Would you put that down to that mistake at the top?
No, not just the top. They were a little bit too early on 13, had a big skid there, and also the part then in the bottom, feet down, it breaks a little bit, and in the end it cost too much time, yeah.
And I guess this is this lack of pressure that we're talking about when they just drop out of that curve so soon, and then
yes,
you're kind of a passenger towards wherever you're facing because there's nothing pushing down the sled. So now we go to the World Cup leaders. Guys are fighting for their 6th overall title. Only a disaster would stop them from getting that in terms of them being disqualified. So they're looking for more than that, though, looking to win this race. And they're used to that because this is Tobias Wendel and Tobias Alt of Germany. These guys have just, their longevity, they're like fine.
Yeah, we have a new start record.
Another start record. Wendel Alt now. Yeah, they just seem to get better and better.
Yeah. It's like a good wine, you know?
And so you can see in the green now that time multiplying as they go down the track. Building time, building time. Now they've got almost 2/10 of a second cushion. As they approach this very long Kreisel curve, with a lovely flat line through the middle of there. Kreisels previously put into tracks to slow down the sleds as they go into the bottom section of the track. And Wendell are trying to carry as much speed, but they've lost some. They're back just by 9,000ths of a second, and they're into the red, so this needs to be an absolutely perfect finish curve for Wendell Alt if they want a chance to stay in the green. They don't. They drop into second behind Bots and Plume. Back by 500ths of a second, but that sets up a very, very exciting run number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't understand where they lost 2.5 tenths of a second. Maybe we didn't see very well where it happened, but maybe we can see it in their face, and maybe they can they can answer us.
Yeah, that would be nice to know, because yeah, as you said, it looked a very solid run.
Yes.
And then after Kreisel,
yeah,
the time just disappeared. So back to Team Germany again. This is Hannes Orlamunder and Paul Gubitz. These guys have had a great season. They're quite young, aren't they? And
yeah, they have, but of course they have to learn a lot, and I see the whole story of them. They need the competitions, and it's getting better and better. Of course, they want to win, and they want to be the best.
Under Gubitz, and this is what we were talking about with this very hard ice, those little mistakes making it so difficult to get the sled back.
Yeah, you see it, especially now in curve 3, it breaks out, and now everything is lost, the whole speed, and they have to fight with this, what they have.
Mistake out of 6 as well. Tough run for Orlamunder Gubitz. These are the reigning world champions a couple of weeks ago in Whistler, where they had a fantastic race, but struggling here in China. First time at this track for these two as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah. It is not easy to slide here because of it's not sick.
Getting into 13, going so early to 13. This is an incredibly tough run for the Germans, 111 kilometers an hour. And crossing the finish line into 7th place is Orlamunder Gubitz, back by 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, you need a lot of runs. It's not a typical Europe or North American track we know from the last years. And for that, it was nice to have so many runs in the training. And I think it's important to have these runs, especially for younger athletes who.
Yeah. Would you compare this track to anywhere else in the world? Is there anywhere like this?
No.
It's totally unique with these very low pressure curves.
Yeah, because the speed is missing. I think if you have a little bit more speed in the end, it could be a little bit better.
So back to Team Germany, Tony Egger and Florian Müller. These guys are, again, just such a new pairing. Egger with so much experience. Took a year out to do some coaching in the US. Came back to racing and didn't seem to have just picked up where he left off with a new backman.
Yeah, but yeah, these were very tight.
Into the red, you can see the time on the mini-map to the right of your screen if you're watching from home.
There were big skids also there. Sorry, I don't want to.
No, it's fine. No, Egger, Müller, really those little mistakes at the top of the track just multiplying down the track. We go from 12 to 13. Little skid in the entrance of 13 as well. Just saw some ice come up the back of the sled. This is where the Dragon's Tail, and that's where the experience of Tony Egger especially, but also sliding ability of Müller as well, showing how to do the Dragon's Tail incredibly well, but unfortunately the speed.
Yes, the speed was lost. We see it here again. Big skid. He tries to be early on Kreisel, but this way were maybe not the fastest, of course. And yeah.
That was a tough run for Egger Müller, but they're still in contact with possibly 3rd place. But Bots and Plumes still our leaders from Latvia. As we come to our final sled, number 12 again, Gitlan Serban, or I did not start. So now we have Edwards Sevics Milkasevics and Lucas Krasts of Latvia. Young team very much chasing their teammates Potts Bloom, who have been the form doubles team of the Latvian program. Doing a lot of work in the top curves there, though. A lot of physical work.
Yeah, he had some problems to find his handles, and then it have to be fast. Now we see little mistakes.
And that's an example of that lack of pressure in the curve. You sort of just drop out. It's like a stone. Big hit up out of 6 into 9. Having to get this sled under control. As we said, the ice is -8, probably getting colder as we speak, and they're back by a second now. But those big hits at the top really going to cost Cevics, Mikhail Cevics and Klas of Latvia. Tough to carry the speed now as they go into 13, back by 2 seconds. And the Dragon's Tail working out well for them with a little less speed. But Cevics, Milkovics and Krasts having a bit of a troublesome run there, especially at the top of the track, sliding into 8th position, which means that their teammates, Potts and Bloom, still are leaders with that blistering 59.155 run. We see just here them dropping out of 6 and just clipping that left wall. And it doesn't take much here, I feel, because of the hard ice. You can just, where maybe at another track you would just get some fur on your speed suit.
Of course, and the sled will be, or the sled will stay on the side if you hold it, but not here.
Little mistakes are punished.
Yeah, and it seems like you don't have the sled in control.
So Potts and Bloom are leaders. Wendell Alt with a challenge in second, just back by 500ths, and Rita Keinsvoorde back by almost half a second. So it's tight between 3, 4, and 5, and 6, in fact. The top 6 very close, fighting for that 3rd place, but a battle for the top between the Tobys and the Latvians.
Tough race.
It's a very, very tough race. I mean, really the top 6 were the only teams that really didn't make big mistakes today, which shows what a tough week it's been for the best doubles racers in the world.
Yes.
You know, these people are the best, as good as it gets at this sport, and it's been so challenging for them.
Yeah. So it needs time to control this track, of course. When we were 3 years ago, we had 2 weeks at the World Cup with an international training week, and also for preparing the test event and our first World Cup here. There were enough runs to learn the track, but now.
So we will be back in about 40 minutes at 5:15 p.m. local time with the men's doubles run number 2. We look forward to seeing you at 5:19 p.m. local time.